Hi guys, it's Rachel and today we are making this giant candy bar cake. This thing is so cool. It's probably one of my favorite things I've made now. I feel like I say that a lot, but this is actually super cool, I think. It's a really awesome last minute Halloween treat because it is super easy to pull together. If you're really in a pinch, you can honestly use like a pound cake mix too and it would go a lot faster, but the homemade pound cake is delicious too. And I know there's a lot of giant candy bar videos out on YouTube now. What a time to be alive it is, but I think this one is really cool and different because it's cake inside instead of just plain candy, and yeah, it's a great last minute Halloween treat and I really hope you guys like it. So let's get started. First off, in your stand mixer you'll need a cup of softened butter. Then we're going to add in 1.5 cups of sugar. And in this recipe I just reduced the sugar just a little bit so the cake wasn't as sweet. We're gonna have caramel with it and all that good stuff, so we don't need it too sweet here. Now I'm gonna add in 5 room temperature eggs, one at a time, and just let those all mix through. By the end of it, you should have a nice smooth and velvety batter. Then we're gonna add in a tablespoon of vanilla extract and just let that mix through. Then in a separate bowl, you'll want 3 cups of flour, along with just a teaspoon of baking powder, and just whisk that together. Once that's combined, we're gonna add half of it to our wet ingredients and just give that a mix. Then we're going to add in a cup of milk, and I just warm the milk a little bit in the microwave, maybe like 30 seconds or so, and that just makes it less likely to curdle. Then we're just going to add in the rest of the dry ingredients and let it all mix through. You can definitely make this by hand too, and here you can see I'm just going to finish off the mixing by hand to make sure we don't overmix. And then we're just going to scoop this into our loaf pans. Here I have 2 8.5 inch by 4.5 inch loaf pans. I've just greased them and lined them with parchment paper, and I'm going to evenly divide the batter, then just give it a little spread out. Once they're nice and smooth, you just want to bake them off at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes, just until they're nice and golden brown. Once they come out of the oven, let them cool for about 10 minutes, and then just remove them from the pan. And you can see that parchment paper sling makes this super easy. And repeat for your other cake as well. Today I'm only making 1 candy bar cake, but you can always double the caramel and the ganache and make 2, and that would be amazing also. Now I'm just gonna level off the top of our cakes. Watch your fingers here. Perfect. And now let's talk about our caramel. We're gonna need 2 cups of caramel here, and usually at the store they sell like caramel bits that are already unwrapped and everything, but I could not find any. I guess everyone else is making giant candy bars too. But anyways though, I had to unwrap like a whole bag of these, which takes a little bit of time, but it is definitely worth it. So yeah, long story short, you need 2 cups of caramel. Then just melt those down in the microwave at 30-second intervals. It'll be really thick and sticky at first, but just let the heat do its magic. Don't try to fight it too much. You just need it nice and smooth. Just like this is perfect. Then to get this even smoother, I'm going to thin it out with a little bit of heavy whipping cream. In total, I added about 1/4 cup of hot heavy whipping cream. I just added in 1 teaspoon or so at a time, just to make sure you don't thin it out too much. And just keep mixing it through, and it should be nice and smooth and gorgeous like this. Now we're going to add in our peanuts. In total, I added in 1.5 cups of peanuts here. And I bought the lightly salted kind because it gives you that kind of like sweet and salty flavor and it is so tasty. And now we're just going to scoop this into our loaf tin. So you can see I have re-greased and re-parchment papered our baking pan. And just add in your caramel about 1 tablespoon at a time. Then I'm going to dip my little spatula in some water just so it doesn't stick as much, and I'm just going to press this down. Now pop that into the fridge to set. Once it's nice and firm, you're going to remove it from the pan. Use a knife to give it a little nudge and it should pop right out. Then you're just going to peel off the parchment paper. Here I actually used wax paper because the parchment paper was upstairs when I was making this, and who likes to go upstairs for things? So I just used wax paper here, but then it kind of stuck a little bit. So in short, just make sure you use parchment paper or even foil, even if it's in another room. In any case though, you just want to press your caramel on top of your cake, and you want to kind of mold it to the sides just so it's nice and smooth. Just like this. Now you're going to need some chocolate ganache, and this is just 3 cups of chocolate chips and 1 cup of hot heavy whipping cream. We're really looking for that kind of Goldilocks consistency here, where it's thin enough to drip down the sides of the cake, but we still want to be able to create a nice design on top. And now we're just going to pour this over our cake. You can see it looks so beautiful dripping down the sides like that, kind of like a throwback to our mirror glaze cake. And you can also definitely reuse the ganache that's dripping down onto our baking pan. You really just have to reheat it and it should be good to go. And then for our pretty design on top, I'm going to take an offset spatula and just kind of create those crisscross shapes. Then pop that off into the fridge to set for a bit, maybe 10 minutes or so. Then for honestly the hardest part of this whole cake, we're going to transfer it to our serving plate. I'm using 2 spatulas here. Once you have it over the plate, just remove your first spatula, then stick one finger underneath the other side, remove the spatula, and then remove your finger. And that is the perfect cake maneuver there. Then using a nice hot sharp knife, we're just going to slice this up. I went for straight in half, 1/2 for you, 1/2 for me. And then for the big moment, you can see here is the inside of our giant chocolate bar cake. Enjoy! Alright guys, our giant candy bar cake is finished now, and this looks incredible. I love how it looks. It looks just like a real candy bar, but in a giant form, and my family is very excited to eat this, so I gotta go finish this up so they can go eat some cake. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I post 2 new videos every week. You can also follow me all over the place on social media if you like to. Just a warning, my life isn't that interesting though. Well, actually, sometimes it does get interesting. Like today I made a cake that looks like a giant candy bar. And then I went to a Nash concert recently and it was so good. We're about 50 miles off track here. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my website over at kawaiisweetworld.com for the recipe for this amazing little treat here. I guess big treat actually. And I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. See you soon.